Okay, so it's been a long night, the US election. I personally stayed up pretty much all night. We still don't have a result, but it looks like Sleepy Joe is going to win.
I definitely did fall asleep during the election, that's for sure.
Did you?
Oh mate, I couldn't watch it past two. I was just, what's happening? What's happening? How does it happen?
What?
Just an influx of votes.
Mail voting.
Well,
Postal votes.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
But I just have my speculations. But
Well, because the Trump people vote in person, the Biden people are more likely to vote by mail because they're the ones that listen to him, Joe Biden wearing a mask and how dangerous COVID is. Where
Yeah.
Trump people see that Trump recovered from COVID after 2 days and he's dancing to YMCA. So he was fine, It's a cure. I call it a cure. They call it a. What was he calling it?
I don't know. All I know is China.
Yeah. So it looks like we'll have a new president.
Yep.
President Joe, Sleepy Joe.
I tell you what should be you should be the president of Sportsbet. The amount of money you put on Sportsbet is ridiculous.
Hey, if there's anyone on Sportsbet watching, hold on. It's true. I know more about boxing than everyone that works at Sportsbet combined. Okay, so give me a job as an odds maker. They've got Yuriorkis Gamboa, 2-time Olympian.
Yep.
Right, paying almost $10 on the weekend in a 2-person fight.
Yep.
If you can get on that, if you can gamble responsibly and you're an adult, put some money on Gamboa. I'm not saying he's going to win, but it's definitely worth it.
Yes, definitely worth it.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
What are we here to talk about, Pete?
Well, we thought with the retirement of two greats,
Two greats.
Habib and Anderson Silva over the last few weeks,
Yep.
we wanted to sort of discuss where they fall into the all-time best
UFC fighters of all time.
yeah, pound for pound.
Yep. I got my few. You may have your few. I got GSP up there. Henry Cejudo, but the only thing about Henry Cejudo doesn't have any title fences. So, can you say he's up there? I think you can because 2-division champ. If people say Conor McGregor is, may as well say Henry Cejudo is as well.
Well, I don't think too many people are saying Conor McGregor's one of the best of all time. Maybe he's in the top 25.
Probably, he's definitely top revenue making.
Yeah,
100%.
I think he is the top. Isn't
I don't know, to be honest.
Just the Mayweather fight alone.
Just go check that one out first.
Jamie, pull that up. So there's a list, Tapology.com, which is voted by the people,
Sponsored by our podcast today.
and they have George St. Pierre at number 1,
Yep.
and his record was 26-2. And he had when was his last fight? Cam, do you remember? 2 years ago?
Would have been 2 years ago against Michael Bisping. Yeah. At middleweight as well, and he choked him out in the 3rd round by rear naked choke.
I like George St. Pierre as number 1 because I don't think, I might be wrong, I don't think he ever failed a drug test.
Yep.
And he's a gentleman, and I think outside the octagon behaviour has to come into
100%.
factor.
Yeah.
That has to factor into it.
Otherwise, it'd be John Jones, but off-field stuff would have been, that jeopardised his career. Let's be honest. The whole drug allegations, the hit and runs, that sort of stuff. So I can't say he is pound for pound, but off-field, don't really think he quite hits that caliber.
John Jones.
Yeah.
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 John Jones is the best I've ever seen in the octagon.
Yeah. Best I've seen it as well. What is it? 26 wins, 1 no contest.
Yeah. So basically undefeated.
Yeah.
And no one's even really come close to beating him.
I would say Dominic Reyes came close.
Yeah, that's true. And there was that Swedish guy. Forgot his-
Gustus.
Yeah.
And Gustus, a very good fighter.
But overall, he's been.
He dominated.
Mm.
At his peak, he dominated.
And would you like to see him go to heavyweight?
I'd like to see DC versus John Jones one last time.
But DC's retired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let the man retire. He's 43 or something, and he's a good broadcast, great broadcaster.
He's a great broadcaster. I love him.
Actually, speaking of DC, he's on the list here, and he's number 7.
You skipped a few there, Pete. We got the one.
No.
We got 1, 2, 7.
We'll come back. We'll come back to it.
We'll come back.
We'll come back to him, but
What a calamity.
DC, he's up there.
Yep,
and
DC.
he's a gentleman.
His name's Daniel Cormier, if people don't know.
Okay, so
Well, what weight division did he do, Pete?
light, heavy, and heavy.
Yep.
So one,
Was he ever 2-time?
yeah, light, heavy, and heavy.
Was he ever 2-time champ at the same time? Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. Okay.
Yeah. So he's in the discussion now. Anderson Silva retired
Just read this weekend.
on the weekend.
Very
And
sad.
he has to be in the discussion.
Oh, it has to be.
And great sportsmanship by Uriah Hall too, who knelt next to him after we knocked him out. I think he even said sorry. No, he did. He said, "Oh, you're one of my heroes. I didn't want to knock you out." And that reminded me of Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali back in the day. Larry Holmes beat Muhammad Ali and old Muhammad Ali, and
Yep.
he, you know,
Sorry?
pretty much.
Yep. As you do.
I hate to do it to you, but it's a business.
Well, it is a hurt business, and that's what it is. You know, you're in there fighting yourselves out. Probably one of the bravest sports too.
So where would you put
I'll-
Anderson Silva?
I'd put him. Honestly, Anderson Silva for me, he's a top 4.
Yeah.
He's probably the main reason why I got into MMA. I watched him and I think it was Nick Diaz, the famous Nick Diaz, laying on the floor, doing what he does. That fight got me into UFC. I don't know what UFC it was. I think it was 161.
It wasn't that long ago, really.
No, Nick Diaz.
Yeah, I remember he
It was
lay
like-
on the floor.
Yeah, it was like 161, maybe 170, something like that. Probably somewhere
I thought
back
you-
over on the back wall, somewhere there.
I thought you were going to say you got into UFC because, or MMA because your style is so similar to Anderson Silva.
No, nothing like.
Because the way you move, like sometimes
I'm very
think, is
spoiled,
that
like-
Anderson Silva?
Yeah. No, I'm more of a what's that guy's name? What's that guy that looks like me? He's definitely not like a goat, but geez, get back to me on that one. He looks like me. He's somewhere on here, on the walls here.
All right. So they have Anderson Silva at 3.
Yeah.
Number 4. I'm not gonna pretend I know much about this guy because I don't. Is Mighty Mouse. In fact, I don't even know if I've seen him fight.
Very good fighter.
Yeah.
That was it the armbar, Ken? That he did it in mid-air armbar.
I don't remember that.
Well, he did something magical. It was like seeing a unicorn fight. All he did was throw this guy up in the air and grabbed his arm, and it was an armbar of some sort.
Didn't he change organisations?
Yeah, he went to
Yeah.
He was switched with Ben Askren. He was switched for Ben Askren at the time. So we took on Ben Askren and Taylor gave away Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
And Ben Askren's famous for getting knocked out by Jorge Masvidal. Very famous knockout.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's still waking up from that one.
He's still in a dream. Okay.
Now he's a guy I'd like to see in some big fights.
Who?
Masvidal.
Masvidal, yes, I would love to see him, but
Why not put him and McGregor together? Or one of the. Or we've already
Huge.
fought Nate Diaz, but put him against McGregor. That would sell. I'm sure Dana White's all over it, but that would sell like hotcakes.
yeah,
All
I
right.
reckon too.
Now, Habib.
Yep, has to be spoken about.
Where do we rank him?
Well, I'm gonna be very biased here, okay? I'm not a fan of his style, but he got the job done every single time. For me, the fights were boring, but people say a win's a win, and theoretically, that's right. It may not be entertaining, but a win's a win, and when you can't deny a guy when he goes 29-0, you cannot deny that he will be one of the best ever to
Yeah.
go in the octagon.
I think he's right up there in and him beating on McGregor and talking to him was one of the most gangster things I've ever seen. You know, he's like, let's talk now.
I know.
No bust windows, no nothing.
No trolley's been thrown.
Yeah, that was pretty gangster.
That was.
And I rewatched that fight recently because it was actually closer than I remembered at times. Obviously, he ended.
He ended the fight.
Yeah, but not just that. Yeah, you're right. He's dominated everyone. He's been in there with, and I rank him very highly.
I would say top 3. GSP, John Jones.
So you put Habib in front of Anderson Silva.
Yeah, I said Anderson Silva 4.
Yeah, you did actually.
Yeah.
Now, who have we got next? Chuck Liddell.
The Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Don't know him, so move on.
I remember him.
I don't.
I'm old enough to remember him. He was exciting. Knockout power, beating some wars, and
Did hear he was very good at knocking people out.
yeah, but he was also good at getting knocked out.
Well, I heard that towards the end of the career, but we're talking about.
Well, what happens is you can lose your punch resistance. It's like getting hit in the head's like using a credit card. The more you can use it, you're fine, and then one day
Bang.
decline. And you know, it's sort of. I think that's almost what happened to Anderson Silva on the weekend. It's sad.
Yeah, very sad. Maybe, you know, it is. And I reckon age factor is also, you have to take that into consideration.
All right, I'm just going to skip a few here because we've got a friend of the gym, Dominic Cruz, at 15.
15,
Yep.
D Cruz. Recently put out an album, so go on your iTunes and check it out.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
What sort of album?
I don't know, but I don't know.
He's a singer.
Yeah, he's a rapper now, yeah.
He's a rapper.
Yeah, it's a rap
I
album.
didn't know that.
Well, hey, he's full of surprises.
Yeah, he is.
He's good with the microphone, let's just say that.
But he came here and did a seminar, I think a year ago, almost to the day, and it was great. Good guy, good friend of the gym.
Yep, very good.
But just going back to the top 10, Jose Aldo, Stipe, Randy Couture make up the rest of that list.
I remember Yohei Aldo, probably one of the best leg kicks I've ever seen. No denying that early on in his career, but his last fights, you may say it's time for him to hang up the gloves.
Well, if you think that's one of the best leg kicks you've ever seen, you've never watched K1. Well, those guys knew how to leg kick.
But this is a guy that was a soccer professional. Not many people know about this about him. He used to be a soccer professional and then went to MMA.
I didn't know that.
He used to be a soccer professional, played for a Brazilian team, and then he just 1 week went into MMA.
Well, I know that he was undefeated for 10 or 12 years before Conor knocked him out.
That's a good record. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a great record. If you can go into a professional career and be undefeated for that long, there's a special talent there.
Yeah, and he's still good. Like, you know, I've seen him fight not that long ago, and his head movement is still good.
I remember when
he'd still beat most people.
I remember that rip to the body that he did on Jeremy Stevens. That was vicious.
Yeah.
Absolutely vicious.
Now, I don't agree with this one.
Tell us, Pete. Tell us.
Amanda Nunes at 17, I think she should be higher.
A lot higher. I totally forgot about her.
She's definitely the number 1 female fighter ever.
Ever, yeah.
But 17 seems a little bit high.
I think, me personally, I'll put it inside top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she has to be inside top 10.
And then you've got...
Wasn't she Female Athlete of the Year last year? I thought she was. On the ESPY Awards.
She should have been if she wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Neither.
So she comes in higher than Conor McGregor, who's 16. What are your thoughts on him?
Conor McGregor, probably one of the best revenue making. icons in the fight game at this current time besides Floyd Mayweather, but that's a different discussion because they had their own fight. I reckon Conor McGregor was great for the sport, but I think it's time for him to fade away.
He's still got a few fights.
Nah, he's done. I'm sorry.
What do you reckon about Conor and Pacquiao?
Pacquiao would dismantle him.
Pacquiao would
Dismantle.
do some serious damage. The kind of damage, life-changing sort of damage. Because Mayweather's not really the type of fighter who will hurt you badly. Like he can knock you out, but Pacquiao will, he will destroy you. And another thing, like I don't want to be, because I was already critical of Sportsbet, but I think Showtime has Brendan Schwab, whatever how you say his name, as an analyst, and he picked Conor McGregor to beat Mayweather. Which they should not forget. He should be fired on the spot for that.
Shows you his social intellect. But yeah, I reckon he was great for the sport, but I think it's time for him to move on and just focus on his proper 12 whiskey because that needs fixing up.
Does it?
It does.
What's wrong with his? I've never tried it.
It goes down smoothly, but to put it up against like Jamison, it does not compare.
Yeah, but Jamison's aged and they've had
Well,
200 it's been around 300
He
years.
said, I quote, "This is better than the rubbish Jamison."
Anyway, each to their own.
Each
you
to their
know?
own, yep.
I don't recommend drinking Jamison or proper 12.
Nah, drink
Just
tequila.
quality.
Yeah.
And then I think the notable guys left, Max Holloway,
Oh, jeez.
BJ Penn, Matt Hughes, all great fighters. Crow Cop,
Yep.
I've spoken about K1, and he's on there, and Uriah Faber.
You're right.
But I think our top 5 is pretty solid for now.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing the next
Generation.
big star, and who do you think that might be?
Oh,
Israel,
Definitely Israel.
Stylebender.
Yep. Definitely got him.
He looked phenomenal.
I would love to
Last
see
one.
him and Jones.
Yes,
I would like to see.
I would
that.
love to see that too, but I think Jones would Jones should win that.
Age does do some things to you, Pete.
Jones is not that old. Don't forget, Stylebender is 31. He's not that young either.
I actually don't know how old Jones is.
Jones is 33, 34.
I would say about that. Youngest UFC champion of all time.
Yeah. So, well, people watching, feel free to tell us that we're wrong and give us your top 5
Yep.
pound for pound. UFC. So we're not talking about Fedor or guys that weren't in the UFC. We're only
Has to
talking
be
about
UFC
yeah,
specifically.
K1. It's got to be UFC. And thanks for your time.
And thank you, Monster Energy Drinks, for sponsoring this video.
Okay. Have a good day, guys. See you in class.
See ya. Ah, that was alright.